y'all doing? I'm going to do a live tutorial for YouTube today. This is going to be a tutorial on how to put the latex body pieces onto your outfit. The pieces you buy from me at the Etsy store. The front, the back, and the knees. I'm going to show you how you can apply these to your outfit that you might make. Now, first off, you got a couple of choices. I've got compression shirt here that I bought that you can use these. You don't have to use compression shirts. I got a pair of pants as well. So these will be where the knees go on, and I'm going to put them on the dummy, on the mannequin here, and show you exactly how to do this. There are other alternatives. You can use a regular, like athletic shirt of sorts. I've got one here that I've marked off because I thought, my reasoning is, depending on where you live, the time that you do cosplay, like say in the fall, Halloween, that type of thing, a thermal shirt might not be a bad idea with long sleeves because it'll be colder. So you'll have the added protection of not just having an undergarment to wear, it'll keep you warm as well. I like the compression shirts because I do cosplays year-round, so sometimes I do it in the middle of summer, like say June, July, Mad Monster, or Days of the Dead, or Carolina Fear Fest, or something like that pop up. So I'm going with an alternate lightweight compression shirt. This is a Lycra material here. This happens to be a large. So what I'm going to do is take this, put it on the mannequin. You don't have to have a mannequin to do this. It helps. But you do not have to have one. Now, just to note, I don't do this as a part of the service that I offer on Etsy. This is something you do yourself. This is a DIY do-it-yourself thing. I'm just showing you the options of where you can get what you can buy and what you can use to make this happen. So what I've got here is a freshly pulled front piece right here. How I do this is I take this with a bungee cord, because I usually make these pieces lightweight, but this is going to be my personal cosplay outfit that I'm doing up here right now. This is my personal one that I'm doing, so I'm using this to show you guys how to do this. So you have that about that far, right about here on the outfit. Stretch that out. Now, I haven't painted it for a reason. Reason being, you have to apply it to the shirt. Now, there are several ways you can do this. You can get a number of adhesive compounds like superglue, E6000, Loctite adhesive spray, the spray adhesive. This will work. This one doesn't work because the cap is a full thing and it's messed up. But there are several ways that you can go about applying this. What I'm going to do for this tutorial is I have casting latex right here. Okay? This stuff sticks extremely well to clothes. So if you can get some white casting RD 407 casting latex, you can use that for this purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up here to do this live on camera. And like I said, I've got the compression shirt. I've got the piece here. I just take the latex. Now, I've done this before for another customer to show them exactly what I was doing. This is for the tutorial basis on YouTube. So what you do is you take your piece, go on the underside of it, and brush a healthy dose of latex or glue or whatever on there, on the high spots. You want to get it all the way around the borders and the perimeters and everything. Now, I have yet to cut and trim this as well. But the thing of it is I'm doing this to apply the latex to it. So when it comes back down on the shirt, I press it on there. And it sticks and stays. I've already messed up and got some latex on there, but that's okay. So what you do is you just press and form this latex on here. I'm going to move these arms out of the way. Tuck those back here so they'll stay out of the way. Now, if you're using, if you don't have a mannequin and you need to lay this down flat, you can do so by placing a book or a board in between the front and the back layers of the suit. You definitely want to do that. Why? Because you will get, if you put this on there and you don't have the front and the back separated, it will bond and it will stick together and you'll never get it apart. It'll be very hard to get apart. So you really want to make sure that you have this right where you need it and applied and done where it's going to stick. Now the reason I've left a gap here is because if I put a mask on over this, it's going to flap. The flap is going to interlay with the top part of this. So that will be okay. It'll be a complete coverage. I also have some latex pieces that are scrap that I can paint up as well in the same coloring. I keep on my scrap latex, so I'll paint these up in the same coloring, and I can lay them over the same way with the latex and have it bond and become the same coloring and everything as what's needed here. Also, I will suggest that if at all possible, when you're doing this, after you have the latex secured to the body piece, you can take needle and thread, and you probably want to get like a leather punch needle and some upholstery thread, and put about 6 stitches on each corner, like the top corners here, 6 stitches on the side, and then here in the bottom. On both sides, you want 1, 2, and 3. Those will be anchor points where you can keep these the latex pieces secured on here, depending on how much movement you need and require to do this. Because for the most part, on the front and the back pieces, there's not a lot of mobility. Insofar as these are not going to move tremendously, a great deal. It's going to be more or less a stationary thing. But, you know, if you get up, you sit down, you want to pull it on, you want to pull it off. You don't want these pieces coming off of the shirt. So see, I'm literally brushing a lot of latex on here. I don't worry about making a mess or anything like that. The other side's already bonded. And I can actually brush the flange. Now some of this I will cut away later. I'll paint it and then trim it. But this is just me making the cosplay outfit right now. And then you just press this on. And press it firmly into the shirt. Right here, and it adheres very well, so it will stick completely. And when that latex dries, it will form a good enough bond. And the reason I didn't paint this first, because I knew that I was going to be using latex, so I get latex on top. It will ruin the paint job. So you want to adhere these first. Of course, I paint them up for you. I seal them with Flex Seal or Liquitex or some of the other sealants I have. It will protect the paint. But what you want to do, like I said, if you're doing this, completely cover the back of this first. And if you can't get somebody to help you, put it on here, that's even better. So here we have, and I'm just going around the sides here to attach this with latex, pressing it firmly in here, getting it to bond. Any compression shirt will work for this. Thermal shirts will work for this. Pretty much any piece of clothing will work well for this. You just have to have something that you're not particularly attached to, because once it sticks and stuff, and if it does come off or you remove it, there will be a ton of latex on the other side impressed into the fabric of the shirt, so the shirt itself will be ruined, technically. Because once you seal this with latex, there is no going back. Now see, I can take this off now. Completely remove this. It's on its own. So I go back up here in the corners where I haven't gotten it. Do that and compress. It's standing up on its own. This is on its own. Like I said, I'm using RD407 casting latex. It's what we make masks with. And it doesn't matter if you get latex on the top, you can paint that out. It'll dry, you can paint it. The whole thing is to show overall effect on these shirts. I can flip this around to the back. Do the same thing for the back piece. Take my bungee cord, grab up a back piece. I've got one already freshly pulled, ready to go. I may have another one. Let me see if I have another one. I'm not sure if this is the one I want to use or if I have another one. Let me check my other pieces here. So I've got a couple of pieces, and one I definitely wanted to use because it was a little bit torn. And I'm not sure. This may be it. This may be it because it's got holes in it, and I don't care if it's got holes in it. This is a good piece, so this can go to customers. This one has a couple of holes in it. It doesn't bother me because I can airbrush over those holes and make them blend in. That's not a problem. I'll clip this up. latex a little bit thick, so, you know, that's going to stretch. Punch a hole in there. This piece has to be a little bit higher insofar as the positioning, because it's bigger and I want it to cover the entire back part. So what I'm going to do to keep this stable is I have to have a counterweight on the other side of this, and I usually use a hammer. And what I do is I hang my hammer on the other side of this just so it keeps the weight and keeps this from moving while I'm doing this. And then you have to keep the arms out of the way. You do not want to adhere the arms in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Keep those up out of the way somewhere. I'll tie those up here. I'll just keep those arms up out of the way. Because when I do this, you have to have this front and back and completely done side to side. Now, same technique. You take your latex. I'll usually start from the top on the underside. Go directly up the middle. As much as I can get on the front and back. Well, not front and back, top and bottom. My bad. And I just get the middle part best as I can so it sticks and stays. Then I can go to the outside on the top, the bottom, and all that and put it in. And once you've got that lined out, push this in. Push it on there to get in there and it'll stay firm. And then you can go back in with the top like around the outside and the bottom. Once you have this thing set where it's going to stay. Now, like I said before, if you don't have a mannequin, that's fine. You can do this laying down, but you want to have a board or something to separate the front and the back of the shirts and the pants that you are doing. You need to have something to separate the fabric. So I recommend a piece of plywood or a book or something like that that you can put in the front and the back of the shirt to keep it from sticking together. You do not want the fabric on the front and the back to stick together. Now, if you do have, I will say this, if you do have shirts and pants that you are going to use and you do not want to do this, you can mail those to me and I will put them on there and charge a small additional price for it. But I can and I will, but you have to provide the shirts and the pants for me to do this with. I do not have the money or the funds or the resources to go out and buy them in bulk. I did try that with Chinese off the Alibaba website and it didn't work out so well. So here what I'm doing is I'm making this come around to the side like so, and it's almost becoming a one-piece suit right here. You can actually, if you get it, if I get it or you get it, you can actually stitch this together if you want to. So you can do that. You have a lot of options with this kind of thing. You just want to make sure that your arm pieces are up out of the way, because you don't want to bond this to the arm pieces for the sake and the fact that you will restrict your movements. I go back over here and go on the top. Peel this back. And the masks that you buy from other makers and other artists usually will cover the front and the back very well. They usually have flaps in the front and the back, the hoods, that will actually cover up. So you can either tuck it inside or you can let it lay over the top. It won't matter one way or the other. You're covered both ways there. I do have a flap here I'm going to cut right here. Usually I leave the trimming before I put it on, but I wanted to show you guys the process of doing this with raw, untrimmed latex. I can go back in and doctor all this later after I paint it up. Come back on this side on the bottom, right here. Everywhere it's not adhered, put it in and on. Get a good coating of it, because you want to have this thing bond really well. Now, for those of you that do not have RD407 latex, you can use superglue. You can use rubber cement. You can use pretty much any adhesive compound that you can find in liquid form. Spray compounds work, that type of thing. Nothing is quite as strong as using regular latex, though. That's the only problem. That's why I said, as a stipulation, if you want me to do this for you, if you want to purchase the 3-piece set and you want me to do it, you have to send me the fabric pieces in order to do this. And I'd be more than happy to do it. I'll charge a small fee for doing so, but that will not be a problem. So now you see I've got this pretty much adhered front and back. And this is my personal costume. So what I'm using here is my personal costume here. It's going to be a cosplay outfit that I wear personally for Part 7. I'm going to put a little bit more into mine insofar as full coverage other than front and back pieces. There's going to be, you know, colored pieces all the way around. Okay, I got a little bit right here I got to do. Once again, I take these clamps off. There goes my hammer. This thing is completely adhered and standing on its own. It's completely adhered and standing on its own. The real test will be once it gets painted up, how you pull it on and off and that type of thing. So before I do anything, like I said, that's why I make the suggestions of sewing at the 6 points, if at all possible, to make sure that you have a double bond and anchor points to be able to do this with. Now, when you put this on, which is what I'm going to wait until this dries then I will paint it up and put it on. Now for the pants, I'm going to need to do something different on that. And I will do that here in a second. Let me get set up for that. The knee pieces, right here. These are the knee pieces. They get cut right down the middle. So what happens is I take a pair of scissors and I cut these right down the middle between the two sections. It goes straight line. There's a little line imprinted in there that is the knee parting line. I just cut them like that. And they become two individual separate knee pieces. However you want to see them, left and right, however. So then, this is the way they need to face. The ball on top is the kneecap. So you have the femur, the kneecap, and then you have the lower bone right here. And there's the other one right there where you have two joints of the knees. And so I'm going to put these on the pants right now. I'll disassemble this real quick. On all the times I need this thing to stick together, the mannequin piece, and it doesn't want to stay, and now I've got it completely disassembled. Still sticking, still staying. I'll have it set aside, it'll dry. And this is where I can take the bottom part here with the feet, mount this up, put a pair of breeches on it, which I've got right here. Got a pair of compression pants. Make sure you find the front for it. Like dressing your kids. And you guys are parents, you'll know how you dress your kids for school. Same way. You're going to fight with them a little bit. Now this mannequin may or may not be the same size that I am or you are. Best thing to do, probably with this, if you're going to do it yourself, and you notice that this mannequin stands up a little bit higher than me. My waist is down here, the mannequin's waist is here. My knees are a little bit lower on this than the mannequin's. So what I would probably recommend doing is putting a pair of these pants on yourself or someone else and then fitting the knees on it by way of there. But I should use this for demonstration purposes. Pants with the knees. Now, because this is going to be a little bit lower on me than it would be normally on anybody else, I'm going to place these a little bit lower down on the mannequin. The knees on the mannequin are right here. That's where these kneecaps would be. I'm going to have to place them just below a little bit. So they're not really proportionally on the same exact spot as the kneecap, because on me, they would ride up a little bit. So what I'll also do is probably put this down here, stand it up, place my leg alongside of it, find the position of where my knee would be, and place it right there on the mannequin, which is going to be right here. And I'm going to have to mark that off. Let's see if I can get a marker. I'll just take a dab of latex and put it on there and mark it. That'll place it right there. Now the problem with these kneecaps is I don't have anything to really readily wrap around. So that's where you would have a good piece to make a marker right there, and then make a marker right here. There we go. These are a little bit difficult to do because, like I said, I don't have anything that really marks anything on them. But I'll place you down here on the floor, and you guys can watch me do this. Like I said, this being a personal project, this is going to be a little bit different size-wise to me than it would be for a lot of you guys. And that's why I need to know where your measurements are, how tall you are. That's why this portion is what I prefer that you guys do instead of me, because I may place it in the wrong spot as far as the knees go, and it may not be a good fit. So, got to get that to stick and stay. And while they're doing that, I'm just going to put this on here. Again, make sure this is secured all the way up and down on the front and the back. You could probably find, I should have a bungee cord I could just, pull around, but see, it is going to fall off for a second, so don't have anything securing it, which is not a problem, because you guys know it will stick. It readily does stick to itself. So I don't have enough latex on there. Should be doing one at a time instead of trying to do both. And you don't want to stretch them too tightly. You want to give yourself, because this is one of the mobile pieces that will, you'll be sitting and bending, standing, walking, that type of thing. So you want to give yourself a little bit of flexible room with these knee pieces. That much you can ensure that they don't stretch and do all that stuff to come off. On these, same thing with the stitching. You want to go back in and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of stitching if you can. That way you can ensure that these are good anchor points. You're 6 here, 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 and here, and here. And that can be easily done with upholstery thread and a leather punch needle, because this latex can be kind of thick and tough to thread a regular needle. So I use a curved leather punch needle to do this with. I really have to move some of the stuff so I can have mobility. And I'm putting a rather thick amount of latex on here to secure this. So you guys can buy latex from pretty much anywhere. You don't have to get 5 gallons. You can get them in a gallon. You can get it in quarts. Just look online. There's plenty of places that have it. Reynolds, Advanced Materials, Monster Makers. I wouldn't really buy Monster Makers for this, only because of the fact that you pay more for the name Monster Makers than you do the actual latex itself. 5 gallons of latex should not cost you any more than between $80 and $100 for a 5-gallon bucket. If you're paying more than that, you're getting ripped off. That's why I always go down to Reynolds. I find a Reynolds Advanced Material and just buy basic RD407. It's called RAM. That's Reynolds Advanced Materials. RAM 407 is what this is called. And it's the same latex that any other company would use, Monster Makers or anybody else. RD407 is the same no matter where you get it. The only difference is how thin or how thick it may or may not be. Latex is latex. The only difference is the Spirit Halloween latex you find in little bottles is diluted to be uber thin. That is prosthetic latex, where you really don't want to use that for this kind of material adhesion because it's not strong enough. It's been highly diluted. So it's a lot thinner and a lot it sticks, but it's a gummy thing that's supposed to stick like little latex skin pieces to your face and stuff like that. It's not anything that would work for this because it's way too thin. Well, this will not stand on its own, so I got to see if I can make it stand with me doing it. Now, I don't really trim. I'm not going to trim these pieces on my personal because I want pretty much as much coverage as I can get. Now, if your latex will not lay down and stay flat, all you got to do is put something heavy on it and wait for that to dry. You put a weighted object. If you're using like a book or board or something like that, just put something heavy on top of it, and it will keep it down until it dries and adheres. And that's the whole thing. The latex has to dry a little bit to grab. Wet latex and fabric will do it, but it's like glue. It's gotta wait to dry before it's really effective. There again, I'm just pushing it down against the fabric. And I'm leaving a little room in the front, so when I put my legs in there, it's not going to be like uber stretchy, that type of thing. So I'm giving myself some room to move, to flex my knees and whatnot. Because you're going to be doing a lot of standing up, sitting down, walking. This is the most mobile part of the outfit. So this is the part that's going to need a lot of adhesion, and it's going to need a lot of support insofar as, like I said, the stitching goes. These are the pieces that you really want to have firmly and securely on this. All it does is take 1 or 2 times to be standing up, sitting down, and a piece of latex might pop loose, and then you start picking at it, and next thing you know, you've tried to pull the whole thing away, and you know it doesn't work. Latex will stick, but like I said, go back in and reinforce on the 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you do 6 points of adhesion with needle and thread, as well as the fabric and the latex. And that's pretty much it. I've got 2 pieces standing here, ready to be painted, ready to go, adhered to the suit. I'm going to leave this on here to dry. But that's basically a DIY on how to attach latex pieces to the clothes. And like I said, if you guys want me to do this for you, you have to send me a shirt and a pair of pants with it before I can do that. But this is kind of showing you how to do it yourself. So I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button on my YouTube channel, Carolina Kiwi Creations. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.